Hey everybody, I am here with Kelly and Michaela, and I got it right. So they're related. Kelly is Michaela's aunt and niece. I got it wrong again. But yes, niece. So I don't know, and I guess their names messed up, but I just adore them and love them. They have been stellar volunteers, and I've gotten to know them so well that their story has really pulled on my heart. So I'm doing an interview. I'm in hopes of raising money to help them rebuild their homes and their lives and their families. So after Hurricane Melissa, both of these ladies lost everything, not just their home, but everything. They lost their jobs. They have, just everything. It's like devastating. And so, but they're just such pillars of strength. They're mothers. Michaela has 3 boys and Kelly has 2. They range from 13 down out of the 5. So they're cousins? No. Yeah. Kind of. We'll just call them cousins. And so they live in a place called Betheltown, and that's in Westmoreland, one of the hardest hit areas. And I'll be showing some footage of their homes post hurricane, because I don't have them pre-hurricane unless you guys could provide something like that. But anyway, so I wanted to take a few minutes and share their story with you guys, and I hope that after hearing this you will too want to help in any way you possibly can. So I'm going to start with Michaela. And so Michaela, what was it like before the hurricane in your home with your family?
So prior to the hurricane, quiet, you're listening to the news, trying to get your mind conscious of what is coming. So my husband and I decided that we're gonna let the boys stay over by their grandma, which Kelly was there. So we brought them over. It's just a 1 room. So when we looked at it, it wasn't sufficient for all of us to stay there, because it would have been 7 children, Kelly and her grandmother. So it's a total of 9 persons in just a 1 small room.
So wait a second, this is where you are now?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it is. It's like a kitchen room. Like it's not, when they say 1 room, it's not like a huge room like what we're in right now. It is a very small room. Okay, that puts it in perspective for me.
Yes. So my husband brought the children over, I think the day before. So we went back there, watching movies, playing games, just trying to just ease the time or the tension that was coming, of what to expect, because it's the first major hurricane that I would have encountered. So we were there, breeze started, then it started raining on and off, then it started getting intense. So the morning of the hurricane, which was my son's birthday, we lost power, I think, the night before. So I wasn't able to call him, we're not in touch. We're there and I was thinking, so I got up, I went out on the veranda. My husband said, no, I'm gonna fry some dumplings. So he was in the kitchen, I was on the veranda watching the trees go down bit by bit, 1 by 1. Then we decided we're going inside. We went in, I started feeling the house shaking, and that I wasn't panicking, but there was still some fright of what was happening, because I've never felt the house tremble like that.
And it was concrete?
No, so the foundation is concrete on my part. So it's a 3-bedroom and a kitchen. So my room and the veranda would have been concrete foundation, where the kitchen was and the boys' room, those were board flooring.
Okay.
So I stayed the veranda first. There was a window blade that went out first from our room. Then I started saying, okay, we went under the bed, which ironically at the end we thought that would have been the best place, because it didn't even budge.
Well, that's where everybody says to go when you're in something like this. So, okay.
So we went under the bed, then we saw the veranda, the window blades start going out 1 by 1. Then my husband said, I don't feel safe in here more. Because he was to the back, I was to the front. So I had to get out. I said, we're already here. There's no point of going out now, because the wind is coming on so strongly. You can hear the breeze. It's like literally singing. So we there for a few minutes. My husband said, no, I'm going to see if we can go over to our neighbor. While there, you're shaking. I remember we put our documents, they were all in Ziploc bags, and then I put them in another bag to secure them and then tape it around. But I put them in the washing machine. On our way going out, I said, this like it just lifts up and moving anytime. So I decided I took it out the washing machine and I put it in the freezer. I took out everything out of the freezer and I put it there. So I put all our documents there. We went through the kitchen, through the boys' room, and went out. Her house is like part of it, as I said, it's a built-up foundation with concrete. Where the boys' room were, that part is board, so it's like it has a little part underneath the house. So we went through the door underneath there, and we were there for some time. When the house, you literally feel our side of the house went first, and then where the kitchen was, that part went. When that went, the house actually collapsed on both of us. During the injury, my leg was bent. My husband has to straighten it out in order for me to try to get me out from under there. A part of the house came down on my shoulder, so I suffered a fractured shoulder. It was devastating.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like it.
When he's like, babe, come on the back here, because there's a little space, come back. I said, I can't move. So when he realized, when I looked, the entire part of the shoulder was like down, you could see the bone here. I actually wasn't even feeling any pain, because the only thing that I was thinking about was my children. I was like, is this the end for me? Is this the end for my family? I remembered, I thought my mom said to me the day before we lost phone service or electricity, said, I understand that there's no space over there, but couldn't you maybe just stick it out for the night? I said, there's literally no space for over there, even for us to stand, because it's a one room, it has 2 beds, it's just a tiny little room, and there's already 9 persons there. And I was just thinking through everything, it's just the end. And my husband started praying. So he prayed, I prayed, he prayed, I prayed. At one point when he were able to get me back to where he was, because the only thing now that was covering him was the flooring of one of the rooms. So we were there. There was a big stone underneath there, so it was rest on that. So we were praying that it doesn't come down any further on us, and also praying that the wind doesn't lift it off. And we were trapped there for maybe 5 hours, because it was maybe almost 1 o'clock when we last look at the time and went out, and we didn't get out of there until after 5 the evening. There was a little gully or precipice that we call it here, behind our house, so we could literally, when I was able to get back under, I could literally see the wind. It was like a mist just spinning around. I said, this is just not a hurricane only. You've watched movies, you've watched news overseas where you see like tornadoes, and that was exactly what we were seeing, and said, this is not just a hurricane, because it was howling. You could see the mist spinning. Every tree that you could possibly see, it was just stripping them of leaves, branches. Wow. And we were there until when we were praying. So when it eased up a little, we tried to see if we could make our way out. Then the breeze came on stronger. So remember, there's flying debris, so you didn't really want to just go out like that. Sure. There was a little fence nearby, a wall fence. So my husband said, all right, when the breeze eases up, what we're going to do is stick to each other, because we don't want it to lift us. So we walk along the fence side when it eases up, and we went over to one of our neighbors. He practically, every Jamaican looking out their windows, so he realized that we were there. So he came out quickly and said, walk this way and come around. So we went in. When I stand, because we're inside now, when I stand, I could feel like my entire back from the shoulder coming down, like it was separating. The pain, I wasn't feeling any pain during the hours that I was lying under the house trapped. So I'm not, my husband was saying to me, maybe because my body was already in that position, so I wasn't feeling anything. The moment
and plus
that I
shock,
got
probably,
out,
and fear, your mind was really focused on everything
getting
else.
out.
Yeah.
So when I actually get out and I stand and lean against the wall, I could feel like the shoulder coming straight down to the back from the side, like it was literally separating. I remember asking him, check to see if there's any cut, check to see if I'm bleeding. He was like, no. I'm saying, I don't feel comfortable standing. they got me one of those chairs where you can pull right out where it turned into a bed. My neighbor had one, so I rested in that with a pillow. It was uncomfortable because now I'm feeling the pain like 10 times of what I've ever experienced that pain before. And I'm saying, I don't feel well. He said, try to rest. Remember, we didn't bring anything with us, so medications, any painkillers, we didn't have any of that. I was like, I don't feel like I'm going to make it. So I remembered him staying beside me, praying. I don't know, and continue praying. We got something because we were wet to warm us up.
Yeah, I can imagine. So how long were you at the neighbors before the hurricane stopped?
So we went out a little bit after 5 when we reached over there, and we were there until I think it was the wee hours of the early morning when the breeze started going down, and then you could hear like people literally going out of their houses on the road. So it's like, okay. So in the early morning, the breeze was continually on and off, but you could hear when the rain stopped.
Right.
So you could hear persons now like on the road, because this is Jamaica. Once it's over, you're gonna hear people on the road immediately. So we could hear them, we could hear people talking, laughing. My husband said, all right, we're going out. So he was there assisting my neighbors because they lost a part of their roof. So the water was coming in, they started setting buckets to catch it. So he was there assisting them to just empty the buckets when it's there full. Then when everything died down a little, he said, I'm going over to see if I can get some painkillers for you. And my asthma pump, because I'm asthmatic, and I was wheezing as well because I was still cold. The only thing that was safe was the clothes on our back, which was wet, torn, because we're practically lying in the dirt waiting. He went out. I didn't feel much better, but I was uncomfortable how I was positioned. So I got up in the pain, I went out, and I think by walking, I felt numb at one point. So I was just standing a daze looking at the rubble, everything in front of us that we've worked, because we're married for 15 years. Everything that we've worked for together to build, when you looked at everything crumbled at your feet, the only thing that you could do is just, we were numb, literally numb.
Yeah.
Then I think it flashed on me when I said to him, go check on the boys, go check on your mother. Remember because even though it's a concrete house, I said, go check on them. So he left. While he left to check on them, I was there going through the rubble to see what we could have salvaged that was saved. I had a little tent because I usually go camping. So I had a small tent where whatever we find that wasn't damaged, I'll put it there. Right. And then I had a bigger one, so we decided, hey, I'm gonna pitch my tent. I'm a camper. So I ended up pitching my tent, the big one, and that's where we spent our first week after the hurricane, in the tent. It wasn't a good sight. The whole experience, it's a little easier now to talk about without being very emotional about it.
Of course, yeah.
But you can look back and say, when I say to my husband that we have a testimony, he said, that's a story, not a testimony. We went through a literal story. So we can the best thing about it for us, we didn't lose our lives. Even though I came out injured, we didn't lose any one of our families.
Amen.
And it teaches me that prayer is something that, God is someone that no matter what circumstances you're going through, you can always depend on him to bring you through it. Amen. I said, if it is your will, Lord, let it be done. And we are here today.
Yeah. I had prepared a bunch of questions and you hit every single one of them. So thank you for sharing that story. I remember hearing it for the first time, and this is actually a little bit more. I'm tearing up, like to know you and what you've been through. You know, hard. I've seen it. I've seen your house. I've seen the slab. Yeah. That's all that's left. I've seen the pictures of you trying to dry everything out, and but I love your spirit, And just so you guys know, the way we met them, we being Patrick Williams and I, who do distribution, we went to Betheltown to distribute to their community, and they were so grateful that they wanted to start volunteering, and they have been here religiously every single day, other than some mornings of Saturdays, and we don't work on Sundays. They show up, they work, they're the hardest workers that we have, and we couldn't be doing what we're doing now without them. So it's just, you know, and I asked them one day, and I forget which one of you told me, but you said it gives me purpose now. And that is just like, it's beautiful. You know, to the very thing that stole from you, you're giving back to, and I can't commend you enough for that. So let's switch over here to Miss Kelly. I got it right?
Yes.
The niece. And Kelly, I would like to hear your story now. Just share what you guys went through. We know that you were in that house, and so your grandmother, because she's not here now, she's in Kingston, you told me, but she was here during the storm. This is the first time I'm realizing that.
Yes. So, my mother, she also didn't feel safe in her house, so she sent my two brothers to stay with me. So that's how we had 7 children. So it's my 2 brothers, my 2 sons, and then her 3, right? So we were in the house, and because I've never experienced anything like that in my life, so I didn't really, I mean, I don't want to say I wasn't taking it seriously, but I never expected that to happen, right? So we were there, and the morning of the hurricane, I remember getting up. We don't have a kitchen inside the house, so I have to do the dishes outside. I remember getting up, going outside, and it was windy and it was raining on and off, but I was like, okay, I've been through this, because we had burial last year and burial was not that intense.
Right.
So I was like, okay. And I did the dishes and I went back in. Now when the rain and everything started, I remember every tree was down. There was no trees around the house. I remember looking outside, because my uncle, her husband, had came over the day before, and he put like ply over the windows and zinc, and that went, so we could see everything happening outside. And I remember seeing, as she said, a tornado literally going around the house. The house is a concrete structure, Kat, and it was shaking. The windows were shaking. And remember, I have 7 kids. I'm scared. I've never gone through this, so I have to try to be strong for them, in a sense. So I was there, and I remember my son asking me at one point, "Mommy, is Daddy okay?" Because his dad was at my house, the house that was damaged.
Right.
He stayed there because he wanted to be able to, you know, salvage anything.
Sure.
So he's like, "Where is Daddy? Is Daddy okay?" I mean, the house is not as strong as this one, so he's like, "I don't know where Daddy is. Is he hurt?" And I'm like, "No, he went to find shelter," when I didn't know what had happened then.
Right.
Her kids, her son, whose birthday was the same day, at one point, I had to sit and cry, Kat, and I guess he saw me, and so he got emotional as well, and he was like, "Where's Mommy and Daddy? Mommy and Daddy told me they were coming by." And at one point, I did not know what to say to him at all. I was just praying. My grandmother she has high blood pressure, and she was stressing out. I had to be there to hold all of them together. So the front door went first. So we have the front door is here, and then we have a middle door to the room. The front door went, and you could literally feel the water, the breeze hitting the door. And it's not as strong as the front door, so I started panicking. And I was like, I got up and I told everybody, pack a bag with like change of clothes, essential items. And my grandmother looked over and she was like, "Where are you going?" This is literally a concrete structure. So anywhere else you would go through the same thing basically. The water started rushing in, everything got damaged, the stove, the fridge, everything was wet.
Right.
The roof, I'm not sure why it happens, but the roof was leaking. It's concrete, but the water kept dropping on the bed, so the beds were wet. At one point I had to make a kind of a fort on the floor, and we all sat there. And I remember my grandmother saying basically she doesn't think that we're going to get out alive, because if the breeze came any harder, the door would have caved in.
Right.
And we have debris flying outside, zinc, iron, trees, everything just flying. We can see everything happening outside. And I remember telling her, you've had faith up until this point. I wasn't a really religious person before Melissa happened, and I had to just tell her, we need to pray, because there's nothing else we can do at this point, right? I remember sitting there and we prayed, and at one point I sat down and I was like, if this is happening here, I can only imagine what they're going through, right? So I started panicking. I can only imagine what's happening at my house. Anyways, so I remember sitting on the floor with everyone. We made like a huddle, and I was just telling them, you know, everything is going to be fine. Your parents found shelter, even though I didn't know they did, and we had to just pray. I remember at one point the wind subsided, so I kind of cracked the door. Even cracking the door to open it, I could not open it. It was like something was behind the door. So I cracked the door and I looked outside, and when I looked, I could not recognize where I was.
Wow.
Everything was gone. I even saw cars, Kat, that moved from where they were. Everything was gone. A truck, a trailer turned over completely. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, how? So I closed the door, I went back inside, and I was like, you know what, we're just going to sit and wait, because as I said, I was worried for them, because I know that their house cannot withstand what we had just gone through. So I wanted to wait until it subsided a bit. I could go outside. I remember when I could hear persons outside, I opened the door and I went. And I remember the kids saying, no, come back inside. You know, you're going to get hurt. Something is going to hit yours. And I kept telling them, no, it's over now. And they're like, no. So I had to go back in. I did not come out until about 12 noon the morning after, because we were all so traumatized. I did not see my actual house until like a week after, because every time I went on the road to get there, I kept seeing devastation, and I could not face it at that point. I could not go to see my life's work gone completely. So I just stayed home because they were in the tent, so they couldn't fit all of them in it. So I stayed, I watched the kids for like a week, and then when I actually got the chance to go and look at my house, which is a concrete structure as well, but it wasn't built properly. It was built way before I was born, so it doesn't have steel and stuff like that to reinforce it.
Right.
So there are cracks in the structure. A part of it tore down completely. Everything inside gone: bed, stove, fridge, washing machine, everything. Clothes, we had no clothes left. My sons had 2 tablets each, gone.
Hello.
Laptops gone.
Just keep talking.
Everything was just gone. We were all devastated. So I remember thinking, there's nothing left here for me. There's nothing here for me to even take to my grandmother's house. There's literally nothing. I have nothing left. So I went back to my grandma's house, and I have been there since. A couple weeks after it happened, I tried to get help to, you know, get some stuff like debris and all of that outside of the house. And I remember asking, you know, if it's possible I could live in there, and everyone I asked said no, because it's not sturdy, it's not reinforced by steels. Everyone was telling me at any point the house could just collapse, and you don't want that to happen with your kids inside. So I was just like, okay. Everyone said it's just best to demolish the little structure of what's left and rebuild. And I'm like, rebuild? How am I going to rebuild? I don't have a job. I don't have any form of assistance. I remember at one point we had no food, we had no water, but the two of us, we had nothing. Cat, we had to literally, and it's not like, we live in the country area, so normally we'd have bananas on trees and stuff like that. We don't have that anymore. Everything is gone. We literally had to just make do with what we have. And that's how when the whole distribution started, other entities were distributing stuff, but because we are far from the square, so we got nothing. By the time we came out, everything was finished.
Like word would get to you, like it does. It finally, people are like, oh, there's people here, go get it, and then it's finished.
So when you guys came and we were a part of the distribution, it felt so good, because I mean, we went through a lot. I'm not dimming that, but there are others that went through worse. There are others that lost their lives. There are others that lost their family. And it just feels good to give people a sense of hope, even if it's not big, it's just a little package or a toy. It feels good. And like you said, it gives us purpose, because after the hurricane happened, to sit and look at what had happened, we were both depressed. We talked about it.
Literally every day.
We were depressed. It was one point I could barely get out of bed. I could not stand to see, and it's not just us, everyone around us who lost everything, I could not bear to see it. So when we got the chance to actually come and volunteer, and the smile it puts on persons' faces when they get a little, you know, it's like a sense of hope.
Yeah, it is.
And so I decided, I'm not working, and I have nothing better to do at home, so let's just go out and do this. Let's try to, I mean, we have found a sense of happiness, because you are awesome, Kat, and we got to meet you. We got to meet Patrick, who's also awesome. And you guys, especially you, Kat, sometimes you say little things and it really makes our days. Like, it really pushes me to just hang on, you know? And so I'm like, we need to give other people that, even if it's in the sense of just providing food, water, whatever, right?
Right.
So we started, and
here we are. Yeah. I mean, you guys say these nice things about me, but I look up to both of you. I really do. Like, what you guys are dealing with, and the character that you have, and the integrity you have, and the work you put in, and I see you enjoying what you're doing. You know, like, I see it, I feel it. It's beautiful. Like, yesterday I sat back with Patrick in the car, and I was like, I don't need to even be there. Look at those two, they got it, man. We trained them well, right? But and you understand patois really well, and I don't. But so, you guys, like, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like, I really want to help these two ladies rebuild their homes. We need your help. we need finances. We also, if you guys have the ability to come and you know anything about construction, that kind of stuff, we might be able to get their stuff done through another way. We're looking into that, but if that doesn't happen, I want to have a backup. I want to be able to make sure these girls get blessed. And then after, if the rebuilding does happen, how do we get them a refrigerator? How do we get them, you know, the utensils, the things, the clothes, the kids hardly have any clothes. And so I'm just asking for help. Like, we're out here, I often say it's like I'm a drop of hope in an ocean of despair. And it feels that way, but that one little drop also feels really, really good. So help be a drop in this ocean out here. What has happened, the media is not covering it anymore. They still don't have electricity. There's still no water. Many regions up in the country still don't have any of that. If you come to Montego Bay, it looks kind of normal now. And you can see a little bit of devastation. The trees, the nature still tells a lot. But up in the country, you're gonna see house after house after house demolished. People have lost their jobs. There's no source of income. Thus, how could they rebuild? You know, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth were hit really hard, and those were areas of farming and like she was saying, Kelly was saying about the bananas, you could just go grab a banana, right? They're finished, they're gone. The hurricane took all of that, and it takes a long time for that stuff to grow back. So they need something to sustain them. So this is a plea for help, and I'm gonna, on this video, put the link to where you can actually donate. And we thank you. And you can reach out to me personally if you want to connect with them. And if you have any way of helping, like I said, from not just monetarily, but also if you know how to build, come. We'll welcome you. We'll help you get to work quickly, because there's lots of it to be done. So would you like to say anything to the people that view this before we close out?
All right, so any help is appreciated, because we don't have anything right now. So if it's even the manpower that you can offer, that's fine. That would be great. And you know, even though we've gone through this, we try not to look how we feel. So we may seem, well, we are strong.
Yes, you are.
And we're determined, and we just need a little assistance. You know, Melissa came and she brought devastation, but I also think it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because we got to meet a lot of awesome people. I mean, if Melissa didn't come, and none of us would be here right now. So I just want to thank God for keeping us safe and continuing to provide for us. I want to thank him for giving us hope through awesome persons like Operation Blessing, Catherine, Patrick, and yeah, I mean, if you guys would like to know as well, as she said, she has 3 kids, 3 boys. You want to state their ages?
13, so I have 3. That's 13, 11, and well, almost 6. So he's 6 in a few days.
Yeah.
My youngest turned 6 on the 11th of February.
Super cute kid too, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have 2 kids, 7 and 2. He'll be 3 in March. So, and they just started school also. They're back at school, so any help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for your time, hearing us out, listening to our story, and we hope to hear from you guys soon.
And most importantly to add, because she has covered everything, prayer. Yes. Nothing beats prayer, so we implore you to continue to pray for us, not just my niece and I, but for the families in Jamaica that have been hard hit, that's been devastated, because we're not the only ones that's still in this situation.
Right.
Yes.
As I said to you
Thousands.
was it last week we went to Cambridge, and I said to you that when I saw the lady with the 10 children living under the cellar, and I said to you that even though I have lost everything, there was someone that was kind enough to allow me to stay in a one room with my children and my husband. So there's a roof over my head currently, but it's not my own, so I'm still uncomfortable. But when you go out and we do the distributions, I know I've lost everything, but to see persons still in a tent under a tree, it brought tears, not only to my eyes but to my heart.
Yeah.
It pains to see persons like that. And I said it to you last week, so this is really just a passion that the volunteer works give me, to go out and to be able to bless others, even though I don't have anything of myself, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
So just continue praying for us, because we need the prayer as well to keep strong.
Yes. Yeah. There's nothing stronger than prayer, and I have to remind myself of that. When people come out on the distribution field and they say thank you so much, I always say thank Jesus, because I wouldn't be doing it if it weren't for Jesus. So that is another thing that I've seen lots of people say, that they actually are praying more. They're really pursuing their relationship with the Lord, and that's a beautiful thing. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna tell you where to go. I'm also gonna put a link, but it's Freedom Fellowship. No, it's not. That's my church. It is Freedom Fellowship, but the website is comegetfree.org. Okay, so comegetfree.org, and then you're gonna go to giving, and then you'll scroll through the giving opportunities, and there's one that says Hurricane Melissa, and that comes directly to me to distribute out here in Jamaica. And I thank you so much for listening. I thank you for your help, and don't hesitate to reach out, please. All right, and as always, bless up.